Okay, so I'm here with Christine Elise McCarthy, who you probably know from 90210 and the Child's Play series. Christine, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. It was nice of you to join us.
Thanks for having me.
And when I seen your last name, McCarthy, is there any Irish connections in there? It's a
Am
very
I?
Irish name.
I know, it's a very common Irish name. Yeah, I'm Irish. I
Yeah.
did the whole 23andMe thing, and I confirmed my suspicion that I'm, in fact, white. 100%. Unfortunately, just incredibly boringly white, mostly Irish, a little bit of English, and a little bit of Swedish.
Do you know where in Ireland you
I,
originated?
I believe the family name is a Kinsale name.
Okay.
But I don't have, my family isn't close, and I know my grandparents were born here, and I don't know where their parents were born, so I don't have any relatives that I can trace back. I mean, I must have relatives in Ireland somewhere, but I don't know how to trace back to them, so.
Kinsale is in County Cork, Ireland. You probably know that.
I've been there.
You've been there, yeah? It's a nice part of Ireland.
Yeah, I did in like 92, I think, I did a driving trip for about 2 weeks all through the south of Ireland. Started in Shannon, and then drove a loop around, and did a Christmas in Waterford at Waterford Castle. Then went up to across the country again to Galway, right?
Yep.
And back to Dublin for New Year's Eve. It was fun.
Have you been in Kilkenny?
No, I don't know. Where is Kilkenny?
It's near Waterford. That's where I'm from.
Okay, I must have. I mean, probably, yeah.
We'll just say yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's the deal? So I was at the time I was living with Jason Priestley, and so we were there together, and it was at the peak of his fame. Unfortunately, as it turns out, I had booked us all in these beautiful old castles, like the old Guinness Castle and Waterford Castle, and there's a castle in Shannon, Adair Manor, and all those sort of beautiful, rolling, gorgeous estates, which ended up being a very good thing because we couldn't go into town anywhere because he was chased like he was Paul McCartney in 1963. So
Wow.
it was impossible for us to like go to a pub or do anything sort of normal, you know.
So you ended up just staying in a hotel and things like that?
Yeah, fortunately they were ridiculously awesome hotels that had horseback riding and clay pigeon shooting and pubs within the castle and restaurants. It didn't suck. It wasn't like It was a terrible punishment, but it would have been really nice to get out and like meet some people and be a regular person, you know.
Yeah. And how's things on your side of the world now? Have you been busy since the pandemic, or has everything just slowed down big time?
They just closed restaurants completely. You can't even eat outside in a restaurant in California as of yesterday. Oops. And so the living situation is gone. So no, it's incredibly slow. Production's been really difficult. It's difficult to do any. I mean, so many film and television productions had to completely rethink what they were shooting because you can't, like, if you have a show that revolves around football, the football team, you just can't shoot that. You can't shoot crowd scenes. You can't shoot, that many people together in one place. So a lot of stuff just got shelved until it's safe again. And yeah, it's been very, very slow. I've done almost nothing.
It's been really bad over here. Our bars have only been open for 2 weeks since March, and they're closed now again, and they probably won't be open at Christmas time. Same with restaurants, it's only takeaway.
Yeah, exactly, same here. I had one meal since March 13th. I had one meal in a restaurant outside, a brunch outside in a beautiful restaurant, but once, and now it's all shut down again. It's crazy.
But you do a lot of cooking anyway.
I do cook.
I see.
Yes. So, fucking light. I do. Not fucking light. I do. I have a vegan cooking channel, and I cook. So it's not like a super hardship, but it is. I live alone, so it's the social aspect of my life is completely eliminated.
And how is the channel going for you? Is it specifically on YouTube? Because I've seen there's a website there as well, but is that just link in YouTube videos?
The website pre-existed the channel, so the website was a sort of vegetarian or pescatarian blog that I did for 6 years or so, and then it sort of felt stagnant. And I thought, how else can I branch out and make this feel interesting for myself? So I did the channel. The blog still exists because all the recipes that I make on the channel, there's a link underneath them to get you to where you can print out a written written copy of the recipe so you can have a shopping list, and so you don't have to actually watch me blibber blab talking while I'm cooking. You can just read it, and it's much more efficient for actually making the food if you care to.
And do you enjoy that?
I do. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy eating. I enjoy feeding people. I enjoy everything about it.
Yeah. In terms of 90210, I haven't seen that many episodes. It's not as big in Ireland as it is in America. What's your experience of working on that show, and what did you think of it?
Well, it was 30 years ago now, which is shocking. 30 years. My God, I can't believe I'm old enough to have done anything as an adult 30 years ago. But it was great. It was it was in the peak of its sort of phenomenon status, and it was really exciting. It was exciting to get recognized in the street for the first time, have people know my name, which hadn't really happened until then. And it was fun to see myself and people that I knew on magazine covers. It was really a unique experience. Not many actors get to experience that sort of thing. There's a handful of famous actors, and there's like hundreds and thousands of the rest of us who just do all the less glamorous, less sort of lower profile stuff. But it was great, and I met Jason on that show, and we lived together for 5 years, and that was good too. And we're still friends. His wife's one of my closest friends. I do my holidays with them. Typically, I won't be doing it this year because we'll be together for holidays. But it's fantastic on every level. And I got to write for the show for a while too. I wrote a couple of episodes, which was exciting for me. It was great. Even better, it came back last summer. We did 6 episodes of it again last summer. I don't know if you got to see any of that. I'm really proud of it. It was I did 5 of the 6 episodes, and it was a comedy. It was different than the show. It wasn't a straight reboot of the show. We played sort of fictionalized versions of ourselves, the way Larry David in Curb Your Enthusiasm plays sort of a fictionalized version of himself in that. And it was really smart and funny, and it was an incredible gift to work again with people that I've known for 30 years, people that I get along with really well, felt like a family. And it was really one of the most positive experiences of my career. It was really wonderful.
Was the reception good for the reboot?
No, actually, it wasn't. No, and because to be honest, people were initially confused by the concept, which I don't know no one's confused, but the concept for Curb Your Enthusiasm. But for some reason, it was over people's heads, and they thought they wanted the show a straight reboot of the show. They wanted the show to sort of pick up where it left off. Well, that's not possible because it had been 25 years or 20 years since. So everybody's 20 years older. You can't just pick up and just be graduated from college when you're 50 years old. So it's impossible just to pick up. And I argue that the show did 10 seasons of that show, and they were doing 32 episodes a year. That's a lot of television. That's a lot of story. And every character on that show, everything that can possibly happen to a human being happened to them. Each of them had, everything from, rape to food, eating disorders, to being killed by the mob, to being burned in a fire, to joining a cult, to being stalked, to gambling and drug addictions. There was no stories left to tell for those characters anymore. There's just no way to go back and revisit them. And they thought they wanted to see 50-year-old Brandon serving mega burgers at the Peach Pit to the same characters he was serving them to 20 years ago. I argue that would be really, really depressing. And had we given them what they thought they wanted, they would have hated it even more.
Yeah.
And I think they would have liked what we did give them if they had given it a second. They bailed in droves. The first episode was huge, and we lost a big chunk every week after that, which is super disappointing because I think the show was really great. And I think if people had stuck with it and gave it a chance, they would have liked it. I think, there's different teams, and people who like Shannon, and people who like Jenny, and people who like Jason, and people who like Luke. It's not, we couldn't have Luke. Obviously, Luke passed away. It's not our fault we didn't have Luke. There's certain things we can't change. People are complaining that I want to see these old people. It's like, well, we are old people. What do you want from us? Like, I wish I was 25 too, but I'm not, And but the characters, people wanted to see Brandon and Kelly together, for example. In the first episode of the new show, Jason and Jenny hook up in a hotel in Vegas, and it's the same drama and storylines that they were getting on 90210, but they were just calling people a different name, So I feel like it was as sort of sexy and and smart as it could be. And I'm really disappointed I didn't get to go for more because I really loved doing it.
It's not getting taken on for any more episodes, no? No. That's a shame. Because they said like it was modernized as well. Like production quality from 25 years ago compared to now is crazy.
And they spared no expense. I mean, we didn't get a chance for it to get like its legs and then have us talking about it while it was still going. But like they spent $10,000 on every episode of my character, or every outfit my character wore. Wow. I mean, really, like Sex and the City level fashion investment in the show. So that intending for the fashion to be like with Sex and the City, to be a sort of a character in the show. You watch the show as much to see what they're wearing as to see what they're doing. And the hair and makeup people were great. Everybody looked beautiful. It was really funny. I think that every actor sort of dictated what the characters, their fake selves, would be doing. I think that everybody chose sort of brave stuff. A lot of it was really close to the bone for what their real lives are like, and I think it's brave to make fun of yourself that way.
Yeah.
And I think that if we had had a chance to, let the audience find us, it would have done well.
You talked earlier about when you were in Ireland and your boyfriend at the time getting recognised and that kind of thing. Do you like that aspect of things, or do you like to live kind of a more private life yourself?
I think that almost everybody, I'm among them, for privacy. You prefer privacy. Even people who think they want the fame can be really awkward and really difficult. I don't think most people, once they have it, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
That said, great things come along with it, though. It's a price you pay to have, if you're high profile, like if you're Jennifer Lawrence, for example, or you're, George Clooney, you get offered the best work that there is out there, and you get to work with the best people. Sure, George Clooney can't go bowling anymore because he can't stand still in a bowling alley. I think that's, but he can afford to put a bowling alley in his own house, So, there's the trade-off. It was a drag for us that I couldn't go Christmas shopping in Ireland like I wanted to for my friends and family, and that sucked. But I got to stay in these beautiful castles and eat ridiculously great food and ride horses and shoot clay pigeons. So, you can't have it all.
Yeah, it balances out.
Yeah. It's nice for everybody.
Yeah, in terms of, like you say, being famous and things like that, I see you post on Facebook from time to time that people would send you like an abusive message and a vile message, kind of maybe not so much racism on your part, but kind of sexist messages. And, do you get much of that, and does that bother you?
I get a lot of it, actually. I get a disproportionate amount of it. And I don't know why. I'm 55 years old. I'm not a girl like, posing like, twerking videos and booby shots. Yeah. Well, I don't know what people are thinking. That I don't know how I'm inviting it, but I get it. It's really hilarious. I mostly post it. I shame these people that do these. I post their messages to me publicly, so everyone can see what jerk-offs they are. But it's often like broken English too, or people sometimes it's like, where do you live and what do you do? And then something really rude. So it means they're not even targeting me because, like, I hate that girl from 90210, so I'm going to write her a rude thing. It's like they just somehow came across my picture and decide to write me a rude thing. And I'm just an anonymous, just another girl out there with a vagina that they either attack or be, like, somehow gain access to. I don't understand it. It is bothersome. I'll tell you, I've gotten a handful of dick pics in my life, and they're so much more upsetting than they should be. It's not like I've never seen a penis. It's not like the visual of a penis makes me run and hide in a closet or something. But when somebody sends you one that is unsolicited, I mean, I've never solicited one, not even from a boyfriend. So I've never gotten an invited dick pic. I've only gotten uninvited ones, and they're really, really upsetting. I get so much more angry about it than I would ever have guessed I would had I not ever gotten one. It's just really invasive and really
weird
and awful. It's so awful. I'm surprised it's so bothersome because it really, what's the big deal? But it is. It's really it's gross.
There's some mad people out there.
There sure are.
Yeah. So in terms of, I know you always get asked about Chucky, Child's Play. Are you sick of being asked about it?
No. It's like with fame or whatever. And I don't have that fame, by the way. I don't have the George Clooney, Jennifer Lawrence fame. I have much more humble version of it. But yeah, I mean, I have to answer certain questions a lot. I've answered like, what's it like to work with a doll? Or are you afraid of the doll? Do you have nightmares about the doll? I mean, asking how'd you get the job? I probably answered those questions honestly without exaggerating 1,000 times. And I don't particularly want to keep answering those questions, but I love my participation in that franchise, and hopefully I'll be involved in the television series that's coming out that I'm shooting next year. I haven't been offered a job yet, but I really hope that I will be, and I think it'll be a similar experience for me that like the reboot of 90210 was, where it's family people. I get back to work with people that I love and have known for 30 years. So yeah, the price of it is that the price of a show like 90210 or Chucky having the legs that they have that allow them to even consider doing TV shows 30 years later with the same people. That's an incredible luxury, it's a huge lottery win. So it's because people still want to ask those questions that these projects keep going on. So,
it's a real
question.
It has a real cult following.
Yeah, and I'm proud of it.
The second movie is my favorite movie, hands down. Now, I don't watch a lot of movies. I like horror. That's my favorite movie.
You are in the majority with that opinion. Like the first or the second are definitely the top two, and I think I hear that the second one is more people's favorite than even the first one, which is unusual.
It was made, I think, 2 years after the first one, and the difference even in production back then compared to 2 years beforehand was crazy. That big warehouse you had there and all that kind of thing. It was amazing for its time.
I agree, and it holds up. It's a bit campy, but it holds up, and I think it's great. And I'm really excited for what Don Mancini's going to do with this TV show. Even if I'm not involved, I'm excited. But still, again, everybody out there, put it out in the ether that they'll invite me to join them.
But I think...
Go ahead.
I think because of the two cameos in the last movies, you would think it's leading towards that anyway.
I can't see how they get around it, but I don't. But they haven't given me a job yet, so fingers crossed.
We'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hopefully COVID doesn't cock-block the whole thing, because...
Has it been delayed from COVID already?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's meant to shoot next year.
It was initially supposed to shoot right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not now until next year, so yeah, it's already been pushed a bit.
I seen when the other film came out last year. That's what I'll refer to it as, the other film. What did you think about that, or the way it happened? Obviously, there's legal things that we won't talk about and things like that, but what did that thing? Yeah.
Yeah. If you Google my name, if you Google Christine Elise and Child's Play reboot, I made a comment on a little blog what I thought of it, and it went viral, and everybody, all these horror blogs and stuff, picked it up. I said I thought it was an incredibly huge dick move to do. And I still stand by that. And the reason I said that was because it's not like the franchise is dead and buried, and that it's time for somebody to like revive it, brush it off, and breathe new life into it. It still has life. It has life in it to the degree that they're developing a TV show with Nick Antosca and Don Mancini, who's written all of them from the beginning. And I think it's really rude to kind
of step on people's toes and
pirate people's intellectual property, even though legally they had the rights to the first one. And for me, it was like, well, what's going to happen now? If whether the movie does well or not, I don't even know what to root for, because I don't know which thing will have the worst impact on the possibility of the TV show being canceled because of it. Like, are they going to say like, oh, the new Chucky did really well, that means no one likes the old one, let's throw it away and let the new guys take it off? Or if it does really well, will they say, oh, there's so much energy around Chucky, this insatiable hunger for Chucky, we should still do the series despite this other one happening? Or if it fails, the same two problems, So I didn't even know whether to wish for it to succeed or wish for it to fail. The thing that I'm wishing for is the TV show to go, and that I'm involved in it. And anything that threatens that, I'm going to have a negative reaction to. I think that that's fair.
I did see the movie because I was too young to see any. Well, I was old enough, nearly old enough at the time to see Seed of Chucky, but it didn't come into the cinema over here. So that film came into the cinema, and I said, right, I'm just going to have to go and see it. Mm-hmm. And my thoughts coming away from it was that film is just completely separate. I mean, maybe that's in my mind from because I know what was happening and all that, but it's completely different. And I think a lot of fans and the people that keep asking for Chucky and the cult following or whatever kind of done the same. They just segregated it, put it into the corner, and said, "Okay, that has got nothing to do with the direction of Chucky, really."
No, it doesn't, that's helpful. That it's not the same story. It's like he's artificial intelligence doll, etc. So, yeah, I haven't seen it. I can't see it. That's a betrayal of dominance, so I haven't seen it. But I will say this: I've seen Aubrey Plaza in things, and then her appearances on various talk shows, on Letterman and on those sort of shows. That bitch is hilarious. She is really, really funny girl. So I kind of want to see the movie just to see what she does in it. Is she great in it?
Yeah, she's really good. Really good.
She's awesome. I'm a huge fan. So
her and the little boy. Was it Gabriel Bateman? Is that his name?
Yes.
Don't know. Yeah, he's really good as well, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Well, it didn't stop the TV show, so I can retract my claws and let them do their thing.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine there will be another one, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I know that MGM only owned the rights to the first Chucky movie, and the other ones Universal owns the right to. So I don't know how that works. I don't know how they can do a Child's Play 2. They can't call it Child's Play 2. I don't think. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how it works legally, but I don't know. I don't know if it did well enough to warrant doing another one, but.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where I wouldn't watch again. So. Not saying it was terrible, but it just wasn't what Chucky is really.
Yeah, and that's a tricky thing. I mean, it's like you said earlier, it's a following for the Chucky movies that is really loyal, and horror fans tend to be really loyal to the original and to cast members, etc. They're really sort of sticklers for that authenticity.
Yeah,
and so I think they may have found a younger crowd, but I can't imagine older Chucky fans embracing it really.
So Trump is gone.
Not yet, but
not yet. But he's on the. That must be music to your ears.
Oh my God, I'm so not a fan. But he's such a horrible human, and I can't understand how this country almost got broken by somebody who's so classless and ignorant and selfish and just like the worst of all human characteristics. He abounds with them, and I can't believe he's a cult leader. I don't understand the appeal. The only thing that I can see about him that could appeal is his ignorance, his pride in his own ignorance and his racism.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that every Trump supporter is a racist, but every racist is a Trump supporter. So
I know a lot of people from different parts of America, and I haven't once talked to a person that likes him.
Well, half the country does, so.
So how does he get so many votes? It's mad.
We got half the country almost,
Yeah.
It's mad, and I thought this election would be a bigger landslide for Joe Biden, because I kept saying to everybody who was worried that Trump would win again, like, you can't have gained a single new voter. He barely made it through last time, and he can't have gained anything. Well, it turns out he gained 10 million. So 10 million people who didn't vote for him said, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think I should vote for him this time. And that's unimaginable to me. So you think it's really cool to take kids away from their parents at the border and separate them and be unable to have any plan at all to get them. I mean, taking them away already is inhumane, but the inability to return them to their parents is shocking. You think it's okay that Putin has put a bounty on American soldiers, and that it's just he makes fun of handicapped people. He's just a vile pig. And I don't understand why so many people don't fall for it. I just don't. I mean, I'm genuinely baffled.
The only time, obviously, he's in the news in Ireland more than our president all the time. But before he was in office, the last time I seen him, because I was talking, I had a guy on here a few weeks ago. He's in the band Limp Bizkit, and we were talking about. And the last time I seen him in Ireland before he was president was at WrestleMania, getting his head shaved by Vince McMahon. And then he's the president.
Get his head shaved.
Oh no, he shaved Vince McMahon's head. Sorry.
Oh, I'm like, he didn't get that cut off his head. Oh, that's funny.
Hair versus hair.
He's a circus clown. That's what he is. That's what he's always been. He's been caught doing things as embarrassing as, calling the Forbes 500 list and like trying to fake his voice and pretend he's somebody else and tell them they should put Donald Trump in the list because how much he's worth. And it's obviously him doing it himself. I mean, he's like a 13-year-old sociopath. I don't get it. But he's going to be gone. Hopefully he'll go to jail. So
yeah, there's no way he's going to swing this around, is there?
Oh, no.
It's just the waiting game now. And then January, is it? He's gone?
January 20th, yeah, at noon. But he can do a lot of damage still. He can still do a full amount of damage.
He can change legislation right up until then, yeah?
Yeah, he can start a war.
Yeah.
So he may think, because he doesn't understand the Constitution, doesn't understand his country, he may think if he starts a war that somehow that would stop him from having to leave office. It does not. Who knows? It's just a horrible.
Yeah. He thought the pharmaceuticals were after him because they released the vaccine updates after he got elected as well.
Yeah.
He thinks everyone's out to get him, I think.
He does. Well, he does. Because he's a big, giant bully, like a pussy. He's a horrible, cowardly little bully. It's the worst.
Yeah. In terms of the future for yourself, what have you got lined up?
I've got
moving
nothing.
Swiftly on.
Everything's shut down, I audition here and there. I haven't gotten anything, but no, there aren't even that many auditions. You have to do them from home. You basically do a Zoom audition, you don't go and meet anybody anymore because that's not safe. And everything's closing down and it's the holidays, so nothing's going to happen until next year. I mean, even to work at this point, if I were to get a job wherever I go, they have to put me in a 14-day quarantine before I can get on that set with everybody else so that, God forbid, I infect a whole crew and everybody has to go down, So that's a big lead time. Used to be you'd audition for a thing and you could be working the next day or 2 days. Now they have to build in a 14-day, block of quarantine for you. I can't see that happening in anything before Christmas. So, yeah, they're going to be.
So next won't be till next year that the ball gets rolling. Hopefully over there again. Is it quiet where you're living at the moment?
I live in Hollywood. I live in a big city, but it's quiet and it's
compared to what it's normally.
Yeah, I mean, most things aren't open, and restaurants and things. Lots of them won't ever come back. They didn't make it through even what we, and it's hard enough to keep a restaurant open in the best of times. And when you cut it down to 50% capacity or only outdoors, and then you can't even fill that capacity because so many people are afraid. It's impossible to make a living with a restaurant. And now, I mean, we're gonna lose half of them, and they'll never come back. It's terrible. And the worst part, from my perspective, is we're gonna lose all the mom and pop ones. You're not gonna lose McDonald's. You're not gonna lose the big chains. Those will stay, and I hate those places. They'll stay in business because they can afford to ride the tide. And the things that make every city in the world interesting. The reason you go to Dublin or to Paris or to, Milan is to try stuff that's local and get some local flavor, and those things aren't going to make it, and that's just the worst. Just a big corporate world where every city looks the same. It's horrible.
Yeah. Well, hopefully better times ahead.
Hopefully these vaccines actually work, so. Hopefully it works anyway. Yeah.
Well, it was great for you to join us anyway, and I really appreciate you taking out the time to talk to us.
Not at all. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Your holidays.
Yeah, enjoy your holidays as well. We might catch up again soon.
I'd love to. Okay.
Thank you.